intro?
You bet it is. Hey!
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's like going through time somehow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. Well, it's Thursday night, so it's another Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists from around the world. First, we ask that you please give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you have any questions for the Carvers and our special guest. Let's meet the Carvers. Yeah, let's do it.
Why not?
First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He is currently a judge on season 3 of Outrageous Pumpkins. It's Paul Dever.
Hey, happy Thursday,
Paul.
everybody.
Good to see you.
Good to be seen, Maddie. Good to be seen.
Yeah.
Lord bless us
Next,
all.
he's a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network, Matt Harper.
Maddie.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Whoa, the multilingual.
I just extended it.
Oh.
Our returning guest tonight is an award-winning pumpkin carver and a member of Team Ghostly Gals on season 12 of Halloween Wars on the Food Network. Please welcome our friend. It's Monique Hawk.
Hello, hello.
There she
Thanks for having
is.
me on, guys.
Good to see you.
Nice.
again.
It's good to be back. This is gonna
So
be
glad
fun.
you're here. So glad. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time.
Yes, you will.
Oh boy.
Hello. you big piece of water.
How exciting.
Oh, stop.
Hubba.
So, Paul, tell us how the Great Pumpkin Carving Contest is going.
Well, now that the rules have really been established, that we have 2 categories and anybody can enter the pro category, the entries have started to flood the gates. It's getting good. There's some really good entries out there. I do have to reiterate, though, it has to be a pumpkin. That is the toughest one because there are gourds and squashes and things of that nature. This is the Great Pumpkin Carving Contest. Because if that's the case, I would love to enter with a butternut squash because I like carving those a little bit better. But this being what it is, you have plenty of time. So if you did enter with a squash or something that doesn't qualify as a pumpkin, take another shot. Enter as many times as you like. Up your game. Tell a friend. Keep it going. The entries are really starting to pile up. It's starting to get fun.
Yeah.
Because now, they're all great, but some are standing out at the moment, and the very next one could blow them all out of the water. You never know what's going to happen. So, I mean, again, it's only the 13th of October. There's so much time left.
Yeah.
People are just hitting their stride.
How many entries are there so far?
Oh, I think I've seen at least 70, 75.
And if you go to this hashtag, you can kind of check them out yourself, so you know what you're up against. And
Yeah, but a lot of people have kind of not hit all those marks. That's what I mean. We had to put the rules back out there because a lot of them were getting missed, whether the hashtag was wrong or we weren't tagged. So I started kind of purposely misspelling a couple things and looking other places, and I started finding a lot. So I kind of reeled people in and sent them a message to repost. So yeah, we're starting to get a lot.
Hey, Paul, I have a quick question.
Sure.
I did mine in clay. Can I enter it?
Sure, as long as that clay is made of pumpkin.
Yay. Okay, I got it.
Orange clay.
Yes.
All right.
Some great.
Well, get your entries in now because what's the cutoff date?
the 31st.
Pretty much October 30th is the cutoff because we have to make our decision on October 31st. I mean, you can get them in there, but odds are by that time on the 30th, Matt, Brandy, and I and Mick, we're gonna pick a winner and we're gonna announce it on Halloween. So
there you go. So
you have quite a few days to carve some pumpkins.
What if somebody were to puree pumpkin and make it into some sort of clay and then sculpt that?
I'd have to talk to the lawyers, to be honest with you.
Is that even legal?
In the realm of the rules, it is pumpkin.
We'll have to talk to the CNC legal team.
Yeah.
CNC legal team.
They're watching. Hey guys, back in the Yeah, the whole team, they're all watching right now. So guys, just get on that.
That's what we pay them for. They're constantly.
They're always on retainer.
They're on retainer just for those type of events.
That's not even the weirdest question we've been asked this hour.
Yeah. We want to know the weirdest questions.
All right. So, Matt, tell us about this event coming up next week.
Well, I would love to, but I'm gonna tag team it with Paul. Paul's gonna be out there starting early next week. I get there Thursday, but it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's an amazing event. If you just take a quick look at what you see there, but it's carving with some amazing sculptors, including last year's winner of the GPCC, Luke Schroeder, and amazing artists as well, Gabriel Venus, along with Ray Villafane. So for us, it's just like, wow, pinch me. I'm really actually carving here, and this is great. But at the same time, it's just a really cool scenario. Everything is just Ray Villafaned out, if that's a thing. But it'll be really spectacular. The one thing I got to just mention is each day has a specific limit of tickets. So if you can't get one day, look for the next or the next, because it's kind of, they're keeping it boutique-y, I guess we'll say that, Paul. It's a
want to keep
limited number.
They want to keep the crowds to a manageable size, because a lot of that stuff, it is a real ghost town. So they don't want, 2,000 people trucking through in one big swoop and damaging things. So it's really going to be, it's almost like it's an art installation. At the end of the day is really what it is. It just happens to be an amazing Halloween installation by Ray, who's Villafaning out big time.
Yeah,
he's got all the bells and whistles on this. I mean, we're seeing stuff that not everybody is seeing right now through the internal text, and it's laugh out loud funny and so impressive. He's got the best sense of humor, and I don't know how, just the way he can articulate a round ball with a stem on it you just know the story is like, holy crap.
It's amazing.
So I'm chomping at the bit to get out there. I don't know what to bring for clothing because it's 40s and 50s, maybe getting to 60 here, and it's going to be 197 degrees when I land there.
At the highest, it'll be probably 90, but the lows are 60 right now.
Oh, at nighttime it gets cold because it's the desert, right?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
When are you guys going out there?
I'll be out there Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my flight lands at like 8:30 in the morning.
I will be driving out to Phoenix actually on Thursday. On that Thursday, what is that, the 20th?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I will definitely come see you guys. I'm going to carve at a Black Rifle Coffee Company is actually opening up a new shop in Phoenix.
Okay.
22nd. So we're going to
nice.
do some carve. So I will definitely come out and say hi to you guys, even if it's before it opens, and I can just come and meet and greet. That would be amazing.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
I'll be dynamite. I love that.
This is unscripted, Mickey. Tell the legal team to back off, please.
The pumpkin culture, pumpkin culture love already. Like we're all gonna be at the same place at the same time. We're gonna make it happen.
Oh yeah, I will definitely come by and watch you guys run around and throw some pumpkins your way. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is like a Carvers and Creators team meeting. You're seeing it live on the air.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited. I actually get to meet you guys. I mean, it's hard to coordinate. There are carvers all over the country actually coming together. I mean, you guys are doing this event, but it's so exciting because you only see these people on social media and this distance, and so to meet in person is really cool.
Oh, I'm excited too. This is going to be awesome. It's another nice surprise. I love getting out to the West Coast because it's like, if you're even remotely near me, please make an effort because I don't know when I'm going to be here again.
Yes, exactly. So let's check out our sculpts from last week.
Oh yeah, those old things.
Yes, carving subject was disturbed ghoul. Matt, awesome.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
He had some dental issues, and I was trying to get him kind of like with this moan look, like that, like. But ghoul, like, to me, I guess that's ghost. I looked at it after the fact. I'm like, he's not really as ghoulish as I wish I could have made him. I would have dug in some more, cuts and made him a little bit more goofy looking. But I'm happy overall.
Awesome.
I went through the same thing when I looked up ghoul. It was like all these demony, like they eat the dead. or something was the thing.
Oh,
Like they don't
right.
go after the living, they go after the dead. But they all look, and I was already finished, so I was like, well, I kind of botched that one. But when I think of a ghoul, I think of something like a zombie. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a ghoul is like the whole thing rather than just the face. So that's also something that's
right,
that's
like a
taken
crypt
into
keeper
account.
kind of thing is like a ghoul, right?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
And here's yours, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
It is.
thanks.
And I do
Yeah.
like the exposed, cut open skin. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Amazing.
Yeah, other than that, it was just a guy kind of like slack jawed, like he got into the opium den or some shit, you know.
Yeah, I love
I had to kind of sell it a little bit more on the what do you call it? The morbid side.
Yeah.
That's funny. Disturbed dental ghoul. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that you did the tongue instead of the teeth. You know,
Well, there's teeth under there too. You know?
well, exactly. Well, I mean, the tongue is just it's just so prominent. It's so out there. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks, bud.
So
You guys
good.
are so talented.
It's
So
just
good.
another week on Carvers and Creators.
Exactly.
Another week.
Yeah, this is our
That's
handiwork.
We just roll, we spin the wheel, and then we roll them out the door. That's what we do.
That's right. Next. Yeah.
Yes.
Panic. Car.
Well, I work in pixels and vectors. So, all I've been making is album covers these days. So, here's my disturbed ghoul.
How cool is that?
And yeah, well, I think I did Disturbed Gabagool because
Gabagool.
Hey, the old gabagool.
it actually is Gabagool. There you go.
It's gabagool. Yeah, I know.
I love it. Capicola,
Wait a minute.
Gabagool.
Where are the little tiny baseball players and band members from the 80s in the background?
Yeah, well, see, that's
It's always like a.
but see, 2 weeks ago we did Disturbed Witch. So I already used Disturbed in that. So
right.
So in other words,
Right.
what we're saying, Paul, is we got to change the word disturbed off the wheel.
Yeah.
Maybe
Or I got to start the wheel from a different position.
That's
There
it.
you
Okay.
I got no answers for it. This wheel is like, it laughs at me
It's
because it knows exactly what we don't want it to land on.
Exactly.
Well, Monique, I'd like to reintroduce you to your favorite member of Carvers and Creators, responsible for choosing our carving subject tonight. It is the hollow wheel, the center spinner, and as always, Paul will tell you more about it right now.
Hello, kids. Happy Thursday. The wheel. Okay, so we're going to spin it twice. The first spin is going to be the character. The second spin is going to be the emotion to which it has to have. Hopefully, it's not going to be disturbed again. All right, so our choices tonight somehow is spelled wrong at the moment, which is funny. I must have hit it with my hand. All right, zombie, clown, vampire, Frank, wolf, ghoul, aquatic, insect, guest choice, so be ready, and troll. Second spin, disgusted, smug, terrified, embarrassed, guest choice, insane, disturbed, creepy, nervous, crying, and I said disgusted. Okay, that's everything. Here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna move it to here. That's a different, right? Yeah, we did. It's like a whole new wheel to me. Whole new wheel. Here we go. Vampire. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
Like it.
Okay.
Like it.
Said vampire will be not disturbed because I'll spin this mother again.
We'll just change it to like disturbed because it kind of sounds the same.
A disgusted vampire.
Disgusted
Wow,
vampire.
So close.
I love it.
Disgusted comes out a lot too, I noticed.
That's true.
A disgusted vampire.
Disgusted vampire.
Disgusted vampire.
I wish I had a different shaped pumpkin. Do I have to carve a pumpkin? Is it the same rules as the GPCC? Can I take it?
No, whatever you want. Get some clay.
No, sir. I
Maybe
refuse to
polymer
carve
clay?
anything on this show in the month of October other than pumpkin.
There we go.
Good for you. You're
That's the
keeping
right
your
thing to
root.
do.
Keeping it real, folks. Keeping it real.
All right, I'm committing it to the chat.
And by the way, look, if you guys have noticed, Monique has a pumpkin in front of her, and she will be partaking as well.
Yes.
And she cannot carve that hat because it is not real.
Got the lucky pillow. I'm good to go.
You got a lucky pillow, too. I don't have anything. I don't even have a rabbit's foot. I need some.
Are you even a carver if you don't have pumpkin stuff everywhere?
No. Well, yeah.
The beverage?
Well, beverages, yes.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, Mick.
Yeah. So we're gonna, if you're carving or creating with us, we're gonna give you 5 minutes to get your stuff together, get all your tools, and get situated. Meanwhile, we're gonna go around and see what everybody's carving oil is. Monique, I'm gonna start with you because I know that you're gonna bring the good San Diego craft beer. Yeah.
So,
Oh.
I'm gonna change it.
No, I like where you were going.
Martini.
Don't listen to him. You stick to your guns.
That's what we're doing, okay?
Okay.
Because I perfected it on this girls' night, and I feel like I just have to show this off because it's so tasty.
Okay.
So I do have martini glasses, but
The proper mug, clearly.
There's so much more fits in,
Alright.
in
we're
a
doing this.
coffee mug than a
I'm
martini
gonna-
glass.
I have my little mini setup down here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
This is awesome.
She's a
Okay.
mixologist as well.
Well, we're gonna do this on my living room floor. This is how we're gonna. I already brewed shots of espresso. So inside the coffee grounds, I put pumpkin spice before I brewed it.
Okay.
So we got a little bit of that. I poured out. I did about 2 shots. So we'll do 2 shots in here.
Amazing.
And
2
I
shots of
only had-
espresso.
Write this down. Write this down at home, kids. Go ahead.
yeah. Wake your parents up with this awesome concoction. So we have the coffee in our little thing. I only have one size of the Kahlua bottle, so don't judge me. I don't normally have handles of everything. So we do 1 quart Kahlua. Let's see.
7 parts
Okay,
vodka.
again, this is the only size of vodka I had, so I got Tito's.
Oh, good. It's cold, I see.
Yes, I put it in the freezer.
Nice.
Okay.
Cold Tito?
And then a little bit of milk. I have this like oat milk kind of stuff.
Is that a cream? That's an actual milk or a creamer?
It's a milk. You can use cream, but this is it's a protein oat milk. So if you want to convince yourself that it's slightly healthy, you can do so.
Is it weird that I feel more Food Network now than I ever have? We're talking about ingredients. What kind of milk are you using? Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Okay, pumpkin spice.
Oh,
Okay.
more spice, even though you already put it in the coffee grounds.
You gotta go full
More.
spice. Okay. And then that's the spice. Oh man. You know, when I was younger, my parents had this book that was Guide to be a Bartender. And I thought it was the coolest thing. I thought mixing drinks sounded so fun. So I was 12 years old and I like snuck this book and I would read it at night. And I was convinced that I would be a bartender one day. And I'm really glad that didn't happen. But
I'm almost positive I have that same book and I've never made one drink out of it.
yeah, I don't think I would.
It must have a cool cover.
Yeah, it is. It seems like a good idea. Wow, look at that.
That.
Ooh.
And then
And then there's more.
You got to have some garnish, right?
Oh,
no, you didn't.
I did. This
That's
is
chocolate
actually coconut whipped cream.
Holy
Ooh.
crap.
so
Oat
healthy.
milk, coconut whipped cream. It's like a $14 martini right there.
Getting the whole produce out here.
Easily.
And then, of course,
And then.
Oh, top it off.
Nice. I don't know if we can. It's in there.
You should have doubled
yeah.
the recipe. You should have filled that. That would have been awesome.
I'd be like, swaying
Yeah,
around.
that'd be
So I need a
awesome.
handle of vodka. I need a handle of espresso.
Ooh.
There you go. Wow,
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
Awesome.
perfect.
With a straw,
It
too.
was so good.
Bars.
I wish I could send this to you. You know what? Thursday, when I come by and see you guys, I will bring espresso martini.
There we go.
You realize you just said this on a recorded broadcast, right? I'm holding you to that.
Mark my words.
There you
Bring
go.
the candles. We'll have a
They're like,
little
it's 9:20 in the morning.
Oh,
perfect time for espresso martini.
it's
Any
got
coffee
coffee in it,
stone.
Paul. Paul, it's got coffee. You're fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'll still be on East Coast time. It's close enough for me.
Yeah, it's new.
Right,
Better
Matt.
than that.
Matt, I'm gonna make you follow that.
It's a good move, man.
Yeah, what does everyone else drink?
Yes.
Oh, me. Ugh. Sorry. Okay, I found there's a cool bottle called
Oh,
Howling
yes.
Gourds. Have you guys had
Howling
this?
Gourds. Right
That's a good
on.
one.
And it's a pumpkin ale from Joseph Brow Brewing Company of San Jose, California.
That's a good
Cool.
one.
So
Oh, you've had that. You've had that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
okay,
That's
good.
sweet.
I'm glad I picked the right one.
I like it.
That's and it had funny, happy little guys on it. Just so great.
Oh,
And it's 7% alcohol by volume.
I love it.
There's
It's
that.
one of my favorite numbers on a beer.
Okay.
Oh, what do you got?
Mick, I got one for you, buddy.
Nice.
It's from Mayflower Brewing Company.
Okay.
Ready? Hold on, let me focus.
Focus.
No way.
Love and wrestling, baby.
Wow. How awesome is that? Where's Mayflower's from what? From where?
Massachusetts. That's where the Pilgrims landed, Mick. I'm not sure if they teach history. out there.
I know them as a moving company.
It's a pretty famous store. It's a pretty famous movie. It says
For crying out loud, you know?
well. First, let's get something out of the way. It's 1 PINT and it's 8%.
Oh, okay.
Double dry hop New England IPA. And it says here that Love and Wrestling Brewster were among the youngest to sail on the Mayflower and settle in Plymouth Colony.
Yes.
Never
I
heard
call
of it.
bullshit because nobody was named Wrestling back then. But I like the story and I love the can. I figured you'd love that too.
Oh, heck yeah.
Saw that and thought of you, bud.
Super neon. That's amazing. So cool. Awesome.
I'll bring you one,
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
which means you have to come to Arizona now.
Yeah. I might just have to just now make the pilgrimage. Listen, I did their pilgrimage.
Pilgrim, you can't write a script like
No,
that.
you can't. You can't. And
We can
well,
legal team
speaking
on this.
of Halloween, pilgrimage, Mayflowers, my beer is from Orange, California, because it's Halloween, of course. This is the Clarity, and it's not going to focus. This is the Clarity West Coast Pale Ale from a really great brewery called Everywhere Brewing
Oh, there we go.
in Orange. Highly recommend if you're anywhere near Anaheim, definitely check out this brewery. They're awesome. Everywhere Brewing. So so cheers to all our creations. Salud, and thank you for joining everyone. Actually, people are getting the in the spirit. Carving Oil is pumpkin spice latte.
Okay.
Yeah, the Sam Adams Jacko pumpkin ale.
Jacko Pumpkin Ale, isn't that that's what Bill Burr?
McFrazzle.
Yeah, Saturday Night
Oh,
Live.
is that it? Okay, so there you go. So I wish that was a real thing. So yeah, we're turning all of our watchers into alcoholics, which is kind of what's the mission at first, right?
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Minus.
Awesome.
I feel like I need a bigger pumpkin.
Awesome. So, Monique, you were recently, well, you're in San Diego, but you were recently in town making this.
Cool.
Yes. So this is our Cinderella carriage tap truck pumpkin. So I have always wanted to do a pumpkin to put a beer tap through, clearly, because part of adulting. And I reached out to buddy who owns Tap Truck USA, and he basically converts all these old trucks into beer taps, so he'll travel and he'll go to different events, and he had an event at a pumpkin patch in Liberty Station. It's the Goff family pumpkin patch. So we coordinated with them, and they bought this. It's about 150, 175 pound pumpkin, and it was already starting to rot. So thankfully I didn't have to sculpt it too much, but the top part had a hole. And so the entire inside of the pumpkin was full of water and decaying. And so we had to pull the guy out and he ran the beer line from that truck that you see in the background. So we ran the line, and then we just put the holes through the pumpkin pumpkin was functional. So one side, the one that has a rat on it, was a Moscow Mule, and then the other side was a local beer. Added some rat.
Cool. Now I see. Oh yeah, the guts look nice and soggy.
Oh, it was disgusting. Yeah, it smelled like seawater the whole time. But the beer was fine. It didn't contaminate the drinks. Just anyone watching, the drinks were still good. It was that was a really fun event. Those guys are rad. The family that opened up that patch, they had only done it 1 year. They started in COVID, so this is their second year they've been open, and they were thriving. So they had a whole movie night. They had a giant screen in the background, and everyone came to watch the second Hocus Pocus, which I So I've heard mixed things about it. I don't know if anyone's watching has a better review, but
I heard the first one sucked. I don't think I ever saw that one either.
No, what? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
I just haven't seen it.
Holiday classic. We are doomed. First of all, anything Bette Midler's in is great.
I can't believe it.
She is the wind beneath.
I just haven't seen it. I'm not as experienced in what's the worldly as you find people. I just haven't.
Well, we get sucked into it just because it was a local thing, right? With Salem, so.
Oh, that's true.
It had funny moments, I guess, but it's a Captain Najimy, is that her name? The one that plays the dark-haired one?
Yeah.
She's thin now. So they kind of had to bulk her up, which you could tell they bulked her up.
Oh.
And, all three of them, it's whatever, 20, 30 years later. So there was a lot of makeup. They should have just made them look a little older, I thought. I don't know.
Yeah, they tried to make them look as young as,
They were.
There was some funny parts to it, though. I liked it.
Yeah.
Sadly, I watched it by myself because nobody in my house gives a shite about that movie.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why I cared about it so much. It was like, something to watch.
What? I would have thought more people would have wanted to see it.
Not in this household.
So then did a lot of people come to visit Salem? Like, did they see an influx of...
Salem is Halloween Town. Like, that's literally what it's called.
Yeah. So it's busy. Do you ever carve there live?
No, there were a couple of people fishing this year to get me to go, but thankfully nothing panned out. I did have to drop some off for a client in Salem, and I was kind of bummed about it because I've made it this long without having to go into Salem during October. There's only two real ways in and out of that town. It's insane. You sit in traffic on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. when it's not Halloween. It's a very old town. Like, the roads are super narrow. It's like really the old buildings, and they haven't done much updating to the infrastructure.
We went once. I think I was like 10, maybe. I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll have to send it to you guys. We went.
Salem?
Yeah. If I find it, I'll email it to Mick, and he can put it up. It's actually, I look back. My dad likes to go through archives of photos, and he'll send them to me. I actually have a ton from when I was a kid. Like, there's a picture of me 2 years old, like into a pumpkin. So he'll send those to me. But my outfit choices in my pubescent age, Mom, Dad, what were you doing letting me go out of the house?
They used to let you dress yourself.
Oh man,
in the dark.
Unreal.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's everybody. Like, I have pictures of me. Like, I like, when did plaid become in? Like, everything was plaid. I'm like, really?
Was this when you were in a ska band?
In the 70s, I guess.
Which ska band? I mean,
yeah, rich ska, right? Exactly, man.
The funny thing about, like, kids kind of in their outfits, my youngest, she gets cringes about it now, but when she was a kid, my wife and I would just be like shrugging, going, okay, I guess you're going to school like that. But she would get up in the morning, and that'd be her first and only thought is, how do I make myself look just like Cherry Jam or Strawberry Shortcake's friend, whatever, right? And she would look it up. She'd look it up online or in a book, and then she'd say, okay, well, they have a white little belt. Okay, and she couldn't find one. She'd get a piece of paper and tape it together and put it around her waist because it had a white belt. And I'm like, and then she'd be committed. Okay, this is what you want to wear. Yes. And she'd head off to school. And like everybody just knew that she was like every day in character. It's wild.
That's awesome.
Do you take pictures to embarrass her later?
We have a lot of pictures. Yeah. She every now and then they cycle through, you know how on your computer they just like do that and they'll be, and she'll come around the corner and be like, oh God, okay. Yeah. Now she's a high schooler and it's not cool. So
I was gonna say, do you just take embarrassing pictures, or are you even a dad? Because I feel like that's.
Oh, exactly. You have to. It's without a doubt.
This pumpkin skin is right.
Awesome. So,
hey, whoa.
What is this?
That?
Oh yeah, that's recent. I love that one.
Oh, my self
That
portrait.
Meg Mucklebones?
Yeah, my self portrait before coffee. That one was we did a news segment, and sometimes I'll just look online for creepy inspiration, and I found it was a picture of a witch from the legend.
Meg Mucklebones.
Yeah. And she's so creepy.
Yeah, she's unbelievably creepy.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I'm carving. So that was my first pumpkin of the year. Haven't really carved too much since. Yeah, that was
Good
after
one.
pumpkin.
Oh yeah, it's really good. I mean, all right. So pay attention, people entering the pumpkin carving contest, right? So you have glued on appendages. You're using the guts. You've got potatoes for teeth and eyes. And is it pumpkin or is that sweet potato for gums?
No, it's all pumpkin.
All pumpkin. Very impressive.
Nice. Warts and every part of it is great. I mean, just like
it's great. It's really good. Jesus, that's a lot of gluing on.
Potato started to get black, started to turn black, which really added to her witchiness.
Oh yeah.
It was so cool. The eyes, it just started to turn gray, which.
You didn't put them in the lemon juice?
No, I just let it kind of do its thing because I feel, for a witch, the black teeth and the kind of gray eyes really.
Right.
I love when nature kind of does that, So I brought it over to my salon. Just let them have it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Schmart. Very smart.
The lady who owns the salon, she's a huge Halloween fan, very artistic woman. She does crazy nails. She did my nails, but of course carving and doing all this stuff, they end up getting all disgusting. But she did like little spider webs, very small details. So she loves anything Halloween.
Oh, that's great.
So she's a big fan. So that was cool.
Now, I'm surprised you don't wear gloves to protect the investment of the finger.
I just, you gotta, when you're carving, you have to be one with the pumpkin, right?
Yeah.
What? I end up getting super glued fingers, and it's part of the experience. I feel like.
Yeah.
My nails will just look like crap for a month, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So.
You literally have to be okay with that.
I watched some of the new season of Outrageous Pumpkins.
Oh, did you now? Did you see anybody you know?
I did. I'm like, I know that guy. Really cool. Where was that filmed? In Virginia?
Virginia, yeah.
Okay. Was it cold?
It started to get cold throughout the taping. I think it starts to get cold around this week where you'll see some gloves, because I'm like, I need gloves. No, stand there. I'm like, can I get gloves?
Yeah.
and it's like, if you look hard enough, it's like a purple set of knit gloves because my hands are so cold. I'm like, I'll take anything.
Anything.
Because anything so my hands are so cold.
How was it judging? Was it kind of a surreal experience?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of something you can always imagine. You always imagine yourself doing, but to actually do it, and it's difficult too because I like everybody. I think they're all great artists, and then you know how it is. It's like they want you to say what you like about it, which is easy. And sometimes what's the hardest thing in the world is to find the things that you would change or something to critique on them. But you have to say those too. Like, if I had to critique it, if I had to. Yeah. And then sometimes you almost want to say, I got nothing to say about this. I think this is great. I'd be happy with this. But, you know, that was the tricky part for me, which I think I settled into, which is finding a critique on everything. Nothing's ever perfect. And you know, these guys and girls are always putting their heart and soul into this. And, you know, Monique, you know, and Matt, you know, once that clock starts ticking, that shit's real.
Yeah.
And it's no help. You've been on Outrageous Pumpkins. You got nobody helping you.
You know,
something goes wrong, it's on you.
I did have I will give a shout out to David Smith.
Yep, Dave.
He's coming on that last episode. Is he? You'll have to bring this up on the last episode of Outrageous Pumpkins. That was the day it was snowing and the pumpkins were freezing. And I'm trying to hoist this pterodactyl over my display. And the fishing line, I didn't think about it stretching and, you know, carrying this different weight. And David actually came over and he helped hoist it up with me a little bit.
Well, that's kind of not, that's really not what I'm.
Crucial last 15 minutes or so. You know, he helped me out. And he also helped me out when my hair got caught in the screwdriver.
Oh, at a drill?
I'll give a shout out to David Smith.
I was more or less talking about the concepts and stuff. Like on Halloween Wars, if somebody drives the bus or drops their ball on what their portion of it, you're like, I'm going home because somebody came up short. I'm more. Definitely the pumpkin culture and the pumpkin community. Everybody helps each other out. Like even on this, like you know, some guys are strong. You know, somebody's always there to lend a hand. But can I borrow your tool? Is always a big one, right? Like if somebody doesn't have a sawzall, you're not going to be like, sucker. Now you know. Now you got to do it with the tan tool. You're going to be like, hey, take the sawzall. Help knock yourself out. Yeah. More or less, you have to come up with the idea and execute the idea. And there's no support for that. It's your creation that comes through in the end, and you have that limited amount of time. And unlike Halloween Wars, where there's, you know, you're building this big display and you have a couple other people on your team, Outrageous Pumpkins, you're building this big display and you ain't got nobody else. You're running back and forth to get more pumpkins. You're trying to make them fit. How are they going to work into the design? That's what I kind of love about it.
Yeah. It was interesting that they did a team
in the last episode. Yeah, that was very interesting.
Partner challenge, which I thought was cool, but it also sucks because you complete something as a team and then one half of the team has to go home. You know, like, well, that was different. You know, I do like how the challenges are mainly based off of that carver and their own skill set, but the team thing, that was interesting to me. But you have to have someone that kind of pioneers it, and anything team oriented. Like the one thing I did like about Outrageous Pumpkins is, hey, it's you and it's your talent. Everything's on you. If you go home, then you go home. Halloween Wars, you can be the best carver, best cake artist, best sugar artist, but if you don't work well as a team, you're done.
Well, I think that was the exercise in that challenge too. Like in the beginning, you saw that Lee and Alan didn't get along at all. Yeah. You know, like kind of Alan was kind of trying to be the boss a little bit and Lee wasn't having it.
Right.
So
then they killed it. Yeah, then they did.
Yeah. They did kill it. They got along great after. And I mean, that's the stress of it too, though. You know, you're being thrust into these situations where like, I wasn't expecting to work with someone else.
Yeah.
And you're going into it thinking my idea is worth $25,000. All my ideas are gonna be the best ideas. It's gonna get me through. And now you get somebody else there that's like, well, what about my idea? And then there's all that back and forth. Well, maybe we'll mix the two ideas up. And so you got to let go of the reins. That's kind of tough. You know, you got to go 50-50 on a team challenge. I thought they all did great, to be honest. Like as far as the way they worked together, it was awesome.
Yeah.
You put a sugar artist in the mix or a cake artist in the mix, and whoa, There would have been
Yeah,
some
that's a whole nother
flying.
wrinkle. Yeah, and now I was going to ask you that about Monique. Like, by the way, out here we have ideas, Paul, not ideas. Just just so you know. But anyway,
Hey, there are also drawings. Apparently, I never heard the R at the end of drawing until somebody was like, "What the hell's a drawing?"
But like when you were on Halloween Wars, I know a little bit about behind the scenes, like about how they pick teams and stuff like that. But when it comes to this new format, new season, and everything, and it's different than like the old traditional show. How was it like being on set? Because it doesn't look like you had the big like diorama size vignettes that you have to do that are 5 feet by 5 feet. It looked like kind of more pedestal and stuff like that. Did you find that like a challenge, or was that better to have like less space?
I liked it. I think just because kind of not less is more, but you can focus on the main character. That was from the last, that was the last episode. And so their thing was they didn't really want a scene. They really wanted your main character to kind of tell the story. So instead of relying on a backdrop to really put it into a scene, you have to get more creative with doing this main character, which I thought was kind of, I actually liked it. I know people aren't fans of it. I liked it. I thought that the ideas and the challenges coming from Ghost Adventures was pretty cool because it kind of made it seem a little bit more realistic.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought the set was really well done. I think it felt more Halloween Wars versus like a cake war type of thing with some Halloween sprinkled into it.
Okay.
So the scene was the set was really cool. I had never done Halloween Wars prior, but just watching the different episodes. I think the new format, I just think people hate change no matter what it is. And so I think they're maybe a little bit more adverse to it just because it's not what they're used to. But I was a fan. I wasn't supposed to be on the show. I was supposed to be an alternate. They had a bunch of alternates scheduled because of obviously in the middle of COVID.
Oh, you're right.
And I got a call the day before and they're like, hey, we need you to do the show.
Ooh.
Oh, man. I was just planning on going to Park City, Utah. A good time for a couple weeks. But they're like, no, we need you to show. I'm like, okay. So then I was thrown into it last minute. I got introduced to my team. And then right before we started filming, our sugar artist got COVID. So then our
no way.
artist was also a transplant. So our team wasn't the original team. We weren't supposed to be together. And I was a little nervous just because we watched these shows and then doing Halloween Wars, the Hayride of Horror episode, Cake and Sugar, which all of them are very talented, but I think sometimes there's more ego involved.
Okay.
And it becomes, hey, let me show how talented I am, and I want to showcase all this cool stuff I can do. With Halloween Wars, it's all about being a unanimous design. You have to make this seamless transition between cake, sugar, and pumpkin without, kind of focus. It's a true team challenge. And I was so fortunate. The girls that I worked with are amazing. Janira, our cake artist, is from DC. She's super talented. And then Susanna was our sugar. I'm sorry, Janira was a cake artist and Susanna was a sugar artist. She's from and she was awesome. She trained in France. So their cakes, I got to taste them. That was probably the best part of the whole show. Is we taste all these delicious things, but we did everything as a team. We decided on everything as a team. We would present the ideas and we pretty much just collapsed all of our ideas together and we made it all work. So it wasn't just compromise. It was, hey, what's going to make this look the best? What can you do under this time constraint that's still going to look cool, but look, like it takes a lot of talent, I guess.
Right.
So you find little things and little ways to make each other stand out. So we were really all about making the team look good, which I couldn't have been luckier to work with them.
Great. That is really great.
Now that one.
And as we sit here right now, you're on again. I mean, right? I mean,
yeah. The episode 6 is airing Sunday.
Okay.
The two Ghostly Gals.
Whoa.
send the spooky vibes.
Yeah, cheer them on.
That carving was last year for Kraken Rum. So we moved and there's a pool in the backyard. And I was like, man, how cool would it be to do some sort of pumpkin carving incorporated in the pool? And I was thinking about it and I was thinking like, oh, maybe some kind of Kraken. And then I remembered, oh, there's a Kraken Rum. So of course, naturally, if you're going to spend time on a project, it's great to be compensated for it and work for a company.
Why not?
So I went down this rabbit hole trying to contact, and Kraken Rum is owned by an umbrella company. It's Proximo Spirit. So they own Jose Cuervo and all this kind of stuff. So I went down this gnarly rabbit hole and found a contact, and they love the idea. So I drew it out for them. The Kraken, it's kind of like this mysterious thing. So they don't want any face. They don't want anything kind of showing what the monster actually looks like. So we came up with this idea to have it coming out of the pool. I bought that pirate ship. It's a kid's bed. It's a toddler's bed for $50 on Aqua. It's still in the backyard right now, actually. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. And then that pumpkin, it's like a 200-pound pumpkin. I built this little platform and put into the water. And then it's butternut squash kind of coming out.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's all different butternut squash. Oh my god. Okay. I was wondering how that was. The tentacles and the arms were okay. That makes sense now. Wow.
The main
is that for like a print ad? Who took that photo?
So my buddy Nick, he's a photographer. It all worked out because we do a Halloween party every year. So I timed the carving with when the party would start. So he said, hey, you know what? I'll come by. He's a phenomenal photographer. He actually does a lot more military shooting style, but he found a niche with boats and water. I don't want to say water activities, but like fishing boats. He does all these great promotional and photography for them. So he came over and he took pictures, and we had the whole setup in the backyard. We threw like smoke bombs in the boat. We had like little floating lights. It was really cool during this Halloween party that I'm having. So then Kraken Rum also sent, I think they sent like 3 dozen bottles of rum. So then our party
there you go.
That doesn't hurt a party.
Really cool.
Oh my god.
Hey, Jimmy.
That was a fun one. It took like 22 hours, I think, and a ton of squash.
You know what I hear? You know what I hear in that whole story is you had this idea and you reached out to somebody and you had to dig to find them, but then as soon as they heard your idea, they loved it.
Yeah.
And so somebody else paid for your hobby. I think that to me, I think that's a great lesson, because I think a lot of times we're like, well, just waiting for them to come to us. And then if you don't go to them, because that's probably going to find you another job somewhere down the line with Kraken or somebody. Well, again, now that you're hooked up with that big conglomerate spirits company, they're going to be like, hey, we need you to make a, we saw you make that martini on Carvers Creators. Can you do that with
right?
I just think
hey, Tito's Vodka, if you're watching, sponsor me.
Tito's, we're all big fans. Come on.
Tito's is always in the chat, so like they should be reaching out anytime now.
Perfect.
Yeah, chime in, Tito's. Chime in.
No, you're totally right. I think I have a background in marketing, and I think the hesitation is when we look at pumpkins, we're like, well, I wouldn't pay $4,000 for a pumpkin, but companies will, and they want something unique that they can give to their clients or whatever it is. They want to be different in the market, especially if it's alcohol or something like that. They don't want just your standard Halloween marketing. They want to be different, and people have no idea what you can do with pumpkins. So we get kind of locked in knowing this is our world. So it seems a lot bigger than it actually is. We're such a small fraction of the population who actually gets to do this and gets to do this at this level. So people have no idea that it's even possible. Even just we watch the shows, and so we think, the people that we talk to and that we collaborate with are other artists and pumpkin carvers. But when you look at that, it's a very small demographic. So people forget, like, hey, no, they need to know what you can do. And if you don't reach out to them, then number one, like the answer is always no if you don't ask, but they just have no idea what you're capable of doing. So and here's an extra added bonus on that
if they came to you with this idea, they would have an expectation about what it's supposed to be. So you actually are dictating what it's supposed to be and selling it to them. And that seems to work out a lot better, I'm sure.
Oh, I totally agree. You can kind of be in control. They sort of, once you already have a vision and say like, hey, I can do this, then they just get excited for it. If they don't know what you're capable of, a lot of people have no idea how pumpkins can be put together or stacked. Yeah. And then sometimes they have unrealistic expectations. So they're like, hey, can you do this in 5 hours? And no, I can't, or it's going to be X amount of money. Like, so you can kind of tailor it to what you can do and, what's going to appease them, what's going to be good for the client. But, reach out. It's a big part of it is selling yourself. And a lot of people also become hesitant because they think like, oh, well, I'm not the best, I know when I was first starting, like before I went on Food Network, I'm like, there's no way I can carve with these guys. Like they're nuts, and then you realize, oh wait, I can. I may not be the best carver in the world, but I'm better than your average Joe. So if people are going to pay you to do it, then market yourself.
Yeah. I love it. See, so everybody go home. They're watching now. You probably are home. If you're not at home, get out of your car.
Don't be watching in the car either because you'll crash.
Okay. Write that advice down and go next. If it's not this year, you go next year, or whoever you want to talk to, just reach out to them and say, I got this idea. You in or you out? Because there's other people I can go to.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Same with the tap truck. I'd always wanted to do a tap truck pumpkin, and networking is everything. It's quite literally everything. Again, you can be the best carver out there, but if you don't market yourself appropriately, or if you're not networking, then you're not going to get these. And people want to work with kind of, if they want you to do a live carving,
they want you to be personal.
Be able to talk to people. But there's also enough business for McDonald's and Burger King to be on the same block, right? So people stop themselves because they think like, oh, well, Matt and Paul can go do this. Like they're much better. Like why would this company pick me when these guys can do it? It's like, well, why not? Again, there's enough business. Like, we're all super busy during the season. So it's just companies have no idea, and it's kind of up to all of us to market that and kind of set it up for carvers around the country. Yep. It's like, hey, let's all support each other and charge so the companies don't just say, hey, this is a passion project for you guys. Like, just do it for free.
Right.
It's like, no, this is your art.
No, my favorite is you'll get great exposure. Oh, will I now? That's fantastic. But the bank doesn't take. The bank does. I can't pay them in exposure and likes.
The only exposure I get is at a nudist colony. That's the only.
Heyo, boom.
You honestly, you're not an artist until someone says that to you.
What, the exposure?
Yes, that is a rite of passage that someone says that to you.
And apparently, you're not an actress until somebody exposes themselves to you.
Oh, these are all zingers, people.
Hey, just kidding.
I kid.
Words of advice. It's the exposure. I used to get really frustrated with it because I took it as a personal dig. Like they're not respecting the time. Like you only know how much time you've invested into it. So when people say some stupid shit like that, then you immediately get annoyed because you're like, this person, like I've spent years on perfecting this and they want me to just do it for free. How disrespectful. But I just realized that, you know what, this is not a client that I'm going to work for, and I move on because at this point I've acknowledged, no, this is what I'm worth. Now, if it depends, like if it's a show or if it's a deal with maybe a good friend and maybe you're kind of doing a collaboration, you can choose if you want to do it as kind of like a donation project or whatever it is, you can be in charge of that. But
this is a great lesson for all artists out there. Okay. So the reason why, because people will do it because they will want the exposure, they will want it, but it's marketing people, definitely manipulating people that are naive about the business of art. And a perfect case in point is whenever a company does, like, say they're going to do a logo rebrand, and they're like, hey, submit your logos and we'll pick one person. So they get 1,000 people, let's say, of like all these ideas, and they give one. So 999 people walk away with nothing, but they have 1,000 ideas. They actually take that to a company, like a real branding company, and then they'll have it, done for real. They'll give that person $100 or whatever it is. And it's basically they get all the ideas so they can figure it all out because they don't know what they're doing. And so I've dealt with this. So the fact that people say it, I can't believe it. People say it to you, but I can't believe it. So.
You know what? Though, at the same time,
at
the same time, I don't want to knock doing something that you want to do for the exposure.
100%.
Like if they lowball you or they say do it for the exposure and you're just starting out and you really need the exposure, do it. Don't think for a second that I'm telling you not to do it, because it is important, especially when you don't have a lot of offers to do things yet. You know what I mean? The first couple times you get somebody that's like, can I hire you? You're like, oh, what? You want to pay me? Holy, I didn't know.
I don't know. You my hands.
Like, what do I need? How do I do this? But so it's, you learn along the way. I think it's good life lessons to learn too. You've gotten to the next step and you've got your shit together when somebody says, do it for the exposure, and you laugh at them.
Yes. 100%. That's
when you laugh at them, you've graduated to the next step where it's like, here's what I charge for this month.
Yep.
You want it early, you can get in at this price, but as we get closer to these dates, there's the new price.
Yeah. Yep.
And then charge the fee up front. Like, do half of it up front or something to kind of lock people in as well. But if there is some psychological aspect to it, if you don't charge enough, like let's say it is a bigger company, they have it's not your grandpa's neighbor that is limited to a certain amount per month, right? These companies have marketing budgets. They have an allocated amount of funds to spend before the end of the year on social media marketing, whatever it is. And if you don't price yourself accordingly, they won't value what you bring to the table. So it's really important to charge something, because some people, they want to say like, oh, we have this professional pumpkin carver and we spent this amount, to get them over here, and we value that. Some people just want that they want to spend money because they equate it to value. So
I agree. That's a dangerous game though. If you stop pricing yourself out, you know what I mean? I get nervous about things like that too, because I do it because I love it as well. You know what I mean? But like kind of what you're saying is, if you know your value, like you don't want to undervalue yourself. Like you got to put, and it's hard to do. Some of these events are 2-3 hours, So how do you you got to put a tag on your, almost like an hourly rate, but at the same time, you got to factor in travel, expenses. And is it 2 hours? Is it 3 hours? Or is it 6 hours for the whole day to get to and from? And, you want to swing for the fences and be like, I want wedding money. Yeah. But at the same time, I almost think if I was in the other position, but not with, like you said, corporations and stuff, but like, say what you did last night, right? With the beer taps and stuff. That's not the same price you're giving to Bristol Myers Squibb. Right. That is a completely different ball game. So that's the thing. You also have to know your clientele.
Absolutely. And it's very funny that you were talking about this, and Jim saying that we're given a business 101 class. I actually legitimately teach a class at a university about the business of being a graphic designer. So one thing that I never hear people talk about when they figure in these figures is profit. No one ever thinks about that you actually have to make money. And you were talking about it. You want to like shoot for the moon, but it's like, what is your profit margin? And no one really considers that. But you're right. It's thinking about the things that what it takes to get there. You're possibly like taking off work, so compensating yourself for that. Your tools, all these types of things. So it's there's a lot to consider. But when someone says exposure, if you want to do it for a great cause, like if a nonprofit comes to you, that's good exposure.
Of course,
you did it for somebody, and you're definitely putting it out there. But if somebody wants to do that and they're a multi-million-dollar company and there's exposure, it depends on what point you're at in your career. It could be a very good portfolio piece, but yeah, when your time is limited, you have to make a decision.
Yes.
Sure, and that's like I don't know if we were actually on or not, but I was talking about how I've spent so many years avoiding Salem, Massachusetts, which is called Halloween Town, and it's just not for what you have to go through to get to Salem this time of year. It's like add a zero to anything, like a wedding.
Ugh.
And it's only for the stress, the anxiety, the gas, the added time and traffic just to get there. And when you get there, sure, it's fun. You're in Halloween Town, but getting out of there, they close down like half the streets. Could you imagine me on a train with like a 100-pound pumpkin, taking a train into Salem with like a wheelbarrow or something? How much is that worth?
I do that all the time.
Well, I would pay you to do it for me. Is basically what I'm doing it, because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider. You're absolutely right, Heather. It's a lot of things that actually, it's great that that as artists we talk about these things because they're real world things, especially when you get later in your career and you want to extend your career. You have to kind of figure how to balance the time that you're allotting to not only your work but the extra stuff. Like if I were to get up here and go somewhere like from, because I live right outside Pasadena, but if it was downtown LA, that's at least 4 hours for me because I got to figure out where to go and where to take all my stuff. And or if I'm going further to Santa Monica or further, it's a lot of consideration because my time is my money. So it's like, I have to figure it all out.
Yeah, I just don't want it to detract away from the fact that we do love this. I just want to keep touching on it. Don't make it sound like we're, get the most money to this. If you want to do it, do it. If you want to do it for an ice cream sandwich and a handshake, do it. If it's going to make you happy. Like some gigs are awesome and fun. Like I do one at a farm down the street and I stopped taking money. I'd rather just grab a couple of pumpkins and let the kids run around the farm. That's a nice day for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So a lot of information. We just don't want it to make it seem like it's still about having fun and carving pumpkins, really, at the end of the day. But Monique's got to figure it out. She can get $1 gazillion from any booze brand she wants. We're going to read her book. I will definitely be reading said book.
She also mixed drinks.
Yes. Yeah. She's a
mixologist as well. That's the Carvers and Creators first, by the way. That's our first legit
first live mixed drink. Yeah. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Monique, you're the first guest to do it. Matt constantly mixes Jack and Cokes right in front of us.
It's that's two ingredients. That's a simple one.
I have a big pot full of ice. Because I'm not in the kitchen, so it's full of ice. And I've set the.
You're chilling them.
I think you also qualify as the most prepared guest we've ever had. Either because
correct.
Not only are you in your living room with the cool background and everything else you got going on, you have a full bar set up and you're carving with us.
Is this concerning though? Is this something to be concerned?
Yeah, I'm concerned that I don't have that set up right now.
Yeah, that's
you guys don't have a portable bar next to your carving station. I don't know what kind of.
I need those little tiny fridges. Maybe that might be what I need.
Well, Matt knows I have a full bar on the other side of the fish tank. It's probably safer that I'm over on this side.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, exactly. You're far enough away.
Just far enough away.
Yeah. Have you ever done a fish carving?
That's a good question. I may have
years ago. Aquatic ones,
aquatic.
We did like merman,
aquatic stuff. That's so time consuming.
Oh my
I've
God.
seen some of your guys', what was the creature?
Creature from the Black Lagoon, kind of ish.
Yeah, all the scales and the detail.
Yeah, we did that with Ray one time. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he carved it. Then he sold it to Lisa, I think.
Really?
It might have been Lisa.
I
tried to get it that night.
pumpkins.
Don't
in
think
the-
for a second I'm not
or
taking one of those Villafane pumpkins on the plane home with me.
Oh boy.
You have to.
Yeah, wrap it up in ice and sheets and
The
stuff.
one with the little buttocks that he found.
The little butt. Did you see the feather? Tick your ass with the feather. What'd you say?
No.
Particularly stormy weather.
Particularly nasty weather. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Can you name what movie that's from?
I want to say meatballs.
No, it's like it was actually a kind of a knockoff of Meatballs, kinda.
Summer camp.
You're so close. You're so close.
Oh, I do know. Is that the one? No, it's not meatballs though, huh?
No, I think it was. I want to say it was a National Lampoon, potentially a movie.
Yeah. Oh,
Up
you don't
the
know the name,
Academy.
so I could be right.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Up the
Oh.
Academy.
Up the Academy.
Yeah.
Is that
Damn
the
it.
name of it?
Yeah.
Ticky ass with the feather.
Damn it to hell.
Yeah.
I think I was like 11 years old, and I walked around saying that, not knowing what.
Yeah.
Ticky ass with the feather.
Yeah. It was during the time of like Meatballs and all that stuff. So it was
Yeah.
about that time.
Particularly nasty weather.
What was the
All
name
right,
of the
sorry,
alien in
Monique.
Meatballs 2? Do you
Oh my
remember
God.
that, Nick?
Oh,
Mickey's gotta
Meatballs
know that.
2?
Remember the alien?
Oh, I have no recollection of Meatballs 2, actually.
Oh,
Who's in it?
Meatballs.
Obviously
it's
not Bill
awful.
Murray.
Oh my God, it was awful. But so there's like an alien that stays
The
at the
alien had
summer
a name, damn it.
and his parents get him at the end, and they pick him up and they're like, so how was your summer? Like Jackie Gleason.
Yeah. Hey,
But let's stop off at the Crab Nebula for some hot Ganipkan ads.
But wait, Jackie Mason was in Caddyshack too. and he
Caddyshack
was-
too. Hell of a
Yeah.
slice. That's where I got Fonzanoon from. You know what a Fonzanoon is, right? Someone who farts in the bathtub and eats the bubbles.
How
What?
have we never heard of this?
That's gonna get us bounced. You know that, Paul.
What
No
is
way,
it?
man.
Say the word again, Paul.
What finger you on right now?
A Fonzanoon is someone who farts in the bathtub and bites the bubbles.
A Fonzanoon?
Fonzanoon. I don't know what it means. It was just the funniest thing I'd ever heard. He was explaining to his daughter, like the guy she was talking to was a Fonzanoon. She's like, Daddy, what's a Fonzanoon? He's like, a Fonzanoon is someone who farts in the bathtub and bites the bubbles.
That's
You
totally
realize
Jackie
you're going to
Mason.
call somebody that at work now, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Half my friends are called Fonzanoon.
Fonzanoon.
Hey, Fonzanoon, how are you?
How was that
That is
movie not awarded more Academy Awards than it
Oh
was,
my God.
Clearly.
which was 0?
So I have to see this movie now.
Caddyshack 2?
Oh,
An absolute disaster of a movie with awesomely funny parts in it.
yeah, waste a day. But you know what? Maybe
Yeah,
have two or three more of those.
And Uncle Eddie.
and then you'll be good.
Uncle Eddie was
Yeah,
in
I
it.
got
Amazing.
to restock my bar
That's true.
down here.
You do. Yeah.
We were just talking about how artists are like our time is valuable. You want to waste 2 hours with Caddyshack 2?
I guess it's not that valuable, apparently. Yeah.
No, not that.
When you guys aren't carving, do you do any other artistic mediums? Do you dabble?
Good question. I mean, if it snows enough, I'll, for the kids and stuff, or for my own well-being, I might feel the urge to go out and sculpt something in the snow. If we get like a big storm of like the heavy stuff, because it has to be the right snow. A nor'easter. Yeah,
I've never
I'll do
actually
that.
done the snow thing.
What's that?
I've never done the snow sculpting.
It
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
fun. You just need trowels and stuff. It's on a larger scale.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun though.
It's like I want to do sand one day, but I see the stuff that's out there, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
There's so much weird stuff.
You mean Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray built.
Oh my god! Everyone. I'm like, oh my god, that's supposed. Yeah. Anyways, I just love watching other people do it really well. Like, there's a couple of Russian guys that Ray's had out to his other
Nikolai
party.
Torkov is who you're thinking of.
Exactly. And his stuff, I sit there and stare at it like I'm some kind of a, I don't know, you want to use an incorrect word, but a patient of some sort, like a mental patient. I'm like, wow, how did they?
Alfonso-palooza. What is he called?
Fonzapalooza. That's where that's like the Juggalo, the Gathering of the Juggalos.
I went to
Fonzapalooza.
Alfonso Palooza in like
Alfonso-
91.
It's a thing?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had huge bubble machines.
Yeah, Jane's Addiction. They started Alfonso Palooza.
Oh,
It was
man.
like
No, that's a
them
different one.
and
That's a different one.
tiny
That's,
channels.
you're thinking of Monsterpalooza. No, that's a different thing too. Never mind.
Speaking of, Son of Monsterpalooza is coming up.
I know.
Where is that?
That's in Pasadena at the
You're up
convention
your
center.
way, not too far from you.
Are you guys going?
No,
No.
we'll be in Arizona.
Oh, it's during
Randy.
the same time period?
Yeah.
Oh,
Same
well.
weekend.
I will
Very
see.
busy month.
But the last one, Monique, you got to come up if you've never been. Our goal is to get back to it again next year. But it is just so, it's one of the most stellar events it's like we are all kids in candy shop, like cannot get over the fact how many amazing artists are there. How many, like we'll call them white whales, right, Paul? Like white whale sculptors that were just
Everywhere you
awe.
look.
And they're all there. And we become friends with them. Yeah, it's crazy.
And this is
Oh,
at
so
Monsterpalooza,
cool.
or is this at the Son of Monsterpalooza?
This was
Yeah,
our
another
experience at regular Monsterpalooza, which was in when was it? May.
Was it May?
And that's in Pasadena as well, or is that Orange County?
Same place, yeah.
Same place, yeah,
I'm
Pasadena.
gonna have to go because I haven't been
You got
yet.
it. It's
close.
so fun. It's so fun, and you're like half an hour away. By
When is it?
helicopter.
It's in like February, right?
May.
No, that's a completely different ball of wax there. No,
Yeah.
it's at the beginning of not quite, just before summer.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, we were sitting just goofing around and talking with a bunch of, they were just obviously artists, but we didn't know who they were. And we're laughing our asses off, having a couple of drinks. And then at the end, we all say, hey, goodbye. And then you just like piecing together people's names and walking away being like, holy shit, that was so-and-so. Oh my God, I love that guy. Can you believe who we were just sitting next to?
Just fangirling.
But they were just awesome. They would just, I feel like artists are all pretty cool people to begin with.
Yeah.
I agree.
Paul and Mickey and I are standing out front of this bar at the Sheraton. Is that where we were? And it's one of the last nights, and I remember just looking around and go, there's Jonathan Fuller, like one of our all-time favorite artists. There's Turkey Merc standing there.
Yeah.
We just had him on.
Mark
Newman. And we were
Hilarious.
just like, and we're just cheersing and laughing and talking about random things. And I'm like, these guys, all three of these guys are like golden gods to us. It was really wild. And then of course, Tom Savini walks by and all these makeup guys, and it just blows your mind. It's
Joey,
really
and we got to finally meet Joey Edwards and Christian in person, and Christian Hansen.
With Chris, and like how many different people did we get to just hang out with? Actually, it was so great.
I think Carla's actually coming out to Arizona too. She said they got tickets. Carla Yates.
That's right. Yeah, Carla Yates. She's awesome. It's just it's just a wonderful little community. Really cool people. Really.
So the pumpkin carving community was represented, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had your back, Monique. We had your back.
We did. We were holding it down for you.
I'm gonna go next year.
You got it.
My computer, I'll get tickets. I'll come up.
You got it.
That'd be so fun. And
Yeah,
you guys
so-
have a booth, right?
Yeah,
What's
our
that?
plan is. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was gonna say. Wait, I was gonna call a team meeting real quick. So
Get the
again,
word.
I think like last year was such an experiment because we just wanted to see like how it went and how it was a super success. And we're trying to figure out how can we make this better, bigger, better, and all that stuff. So I think that we have some definite plans about how we can do that. But having more people like yourself, Monique, it's only going to add to the fun.
You got to come carve live with us. That's the only way.
Yes, carving live is where it's at.
That would be.
Does
Do you do that? It's 2 days, right?
3 days.
2 days.
It's 3 days. Yeah,
3 days.
3 days. You don't have to go for all 3 days. If you're
But,
part-time, if you're a part-timer, I guess.
it's cool. No, you don't have to go. Don't worry. Don't
That's
come up
fine.
at all.
We get it.
Cool.
We get it. You don't care. It's
Yeah,
fine. We get
yeah. If you,
I'm dedicated. I'm going for 3 days.
Oh, there we go. Okay, she's in. Okay.
and there's some great breweries around there. But if you want to come for half a day or whatever, it's all good.
No,
like-
it's just a
That's
guilt
cool
trip
too.
for
I
that.
guess
I'm
that's
in
cool
for all
too.
3 days.
Spare time, spare change, spare time.
Yeah.
That's all good.
No, I'll definitely do it. That'd be so much fun. And even if maybe what if you guys did like you planned a big display, and then people just started like whoever shows up and wants to carve live has to add to the display. So you do some
Sure.
giant,
This is
like 3-day thing, and then everyone adds their little element to this display.
there you
I
go.
love it.
Like a
Yeah.
haunted house, but like you could do your own Monster Palooza, whatever that may be. So it's a building, and then everyone adds their own little carved monster, and you make your own Monster Palooza within Monster Palooza.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, you know.
I don't
I
know.
feel- you did take ayahuasca. What happened here? That was, like, that was magical.
About to start purging any second now.
We need rating.
It's not the martini. I took ayahuasca.
Yeah, that's not true. I mean, what? No.
Speed that
I
up. We
just,
need
licked,
some
I
rating.
just licked a toad.
Oh, Homer.
Yeah, Arson's in the back freaking out.
The wall of souls.
Pumpkin
Yeah.
wall of souls.
Homer.
Yeah.
Nice. It'll be a who's who. I mean, we just gotta, we gotta start rounding people up. We gotta get some pumpkin presents there. I think it was
No,
very
that
well
would be really
received.
cool. We could all add to it. Some of them might look a little rough on day 3, but
Of course,
That's
especially
part of the
being in
magic.
California.
That's right.
But
part of the magic.
we did get a lot of positive feedback, especially not just the artists, but the fans, the people that were there. There was a lot of people that would come up behind us, and you can just hear the chatter while you're talking to people and having a good time, and you'd be like, look, there's somebody actually working. And there were, like, Rob Berman was doing a makeup right around the corner. But
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
applying the makeup. He goes, look, they're actually sculpting, like the beginning part.
yeah.
I'm like, well, you're really not going to be putting this on any. This is just a perishable item. Where this is just kind of our goofy hobby here.
Yep.
But it was well
But
received.
it was met
super
with a
fun.
lot of really interesting comments, right, Paul? Like we would over our shoulder to mention Turkey again. Like he's talking
America.
to somebody, pointing out things, and I know I call him on a first name basis, like hey Turkey, like hey chicken, hey, go.
That's what he wanted to be called.
He calls him Turk.
Yeah, Turk, and he couldn't have been the nicer guy, and we started chatting it up with Paul, and I think one of the draws was because we're sculpting butternut squash, right, or kabocha, whatever we had with us, because we don't have pumpkins at that point, but the fact that people can see over our shoulders and see actual pictures of pumpkins, other things we've done, that's great. But it was just so fun to have something to do there, and with our backs kind of to the walkway. And I'd turn around sometimes and there'd be 5 people deep, like watching what we're doing. And it was just surreal because I'm like, we're among the best of the best, and Spider Zero and, McGee Effect, and, all these crazy, crazy artists. And we're just like, oh yeah, we're just going to go ahead and sculpt while we're here, not just sell merch.
Yeah.
We had we had stuff to sell, but people were literally like, so you guys are just here? I'm like, yeah. We're just hanging out, man. We got a booth. We're just showing up. We're trying to get people interested in what we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit, if
We're
I wasn't
just
selling
here.
things, I'd be out of here.
We're just here. We're just here.
We're just here to hang out.
I'm here for the beer, man. I can't. What are they, 805s? I can't get those at home.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, those are good.
You gotta get some. I mean, we'll have to get a sponsor.
Ooh,
That's
Good point.
That's what we're getting down to, and I think that's
valid point.
that brings us all back to the sponsor that you were talking about, Kraken. And let's just make a couple phone calls. We'll help you out. You clearly know the magic code to get them to do it.
I think doing some sort of. I know we had talked about reaching out to a brewery. And
I was you're thinking what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Try this move.
McFrazzle Stash.
Yes.
What do you say?
How does one get sponsors? I think the pumpkin.
Become an alcoholic.
Yeah, pretty much. Be the best customer, and then you can.
There you go.
I think sponsors. The big thing is they need to see, I mean, not just the value in it. Obviously there's value to what you bring, but they need to see consistent value over time. So like a pumpkin sponsor is easy to get during this time. You can go to hit up a couple of your local patches, say, hey, I'll provide you with, or like, hey, I'll join with you to do a news segment. Anytime that I carve, I will give you a shout out. So you have to make it palatable for them to want to sponsor you, which you have to make it obviously marketable and they money signs. So it's, hey, every time I give you a shout out, you know, and I get 15 people that ask me where I buy my pumpkins. Cool. I'm going to route them right to your patch. And so then you can get 15 people that don't know. So they need to see this consistent throwback. So, I mean, obviously like an alcohol sponsor would be difficult because this is something that's, it's seasonal, you know, it's butternut squashes all year is cool, but they want that unique Halloween thing. So you might be able to get some free beer or some free, you know, bottles or something like that for that moment, for that season. But unless it's something that you can consistently bring, and, you know, like you probably get that all the time with graphic design. So it's like, hey, you know what, we can kind of coordinate this thing because I can produce something for you all year round. Now for other art mediums, you know, like I do drawing on, you know, during the other times of the season. So some kind of art thing you can kind of coordinate, but with this type of medium for like any kind of sponsor that's not an actual pumpkin sponsor, it's a little difficult, I feel.
Having an audience also helps too, saying like we have a built-in audience that's gonna love this content and you're associated with us. So
they're gonna buy
it's all in the sales pitch as well.
Yeah.
What's that, Matt?
I was gonna say, you know, we can say that, you know, the people that watch us will support you the way they support us, you know, if it's, you know, done right, obviously. We're trying to sell, baby arsenic, then no.
Yeah.
Baby arsenic.
I thought I heard that.
Baby arsenic people out there, stay away. We don't want your product.
Is there an adult dose? I didn't know. I thought this was all the same.
Wow.
Excuse me, you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and baby arsenic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you invite somebody over? Who's knocking at the door? Shut the curtains. Cut the lights.
Yes.
We're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Exactly. Yeah.
There was a great show. It was Thomas Lennon, who was he was in like Reno 9/11, and it was the State was a show on MTV. It was a comedy show, and then they had an offshoot show called Viva Variety, and there was one. It was called Baby Tastes Like Soup. That they were trying to, and it was just a baby who you just licked. It was a doll, like a baby, and they would just lick it, and he goes, "Oh, tomato." The baby tastes like soup. I always wanted to use that one. Yes, yes, new boot.
I know that there's a demographic for everything, but oh my gosh, there's so many lines that are crossed once you get to licking baby thing, you know what I mean?
You know what though? Hey, that's comedy. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable.
Exactly.
This is true. I know it's cancel culture now.
Wait, what was our prompt again, Mickey? You was disgusted?
It was a maniacal demigorgon.
That was what it was. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Disgusted vampire, right?
Disgusted vampire.
Okay. I'm just trying to recall this as I continue to make him disgusted.
Don't worry. Every time I make the deck for the next week, I have to look at what the prompt is again. I'm like,
every time I post mine, every time I go to post it to be the subject was, and I'm like, I have no idea.
What was this again? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh look, a butterfly.
Somebody jingled keys. What's going on?
Yeah.
I see a shiny object in the water. Oh, it's a reflection. Yeah. I'm going to grab it.
Hey, John. Thanks for joining.
John's carving this year.
Yeah, he's up in Chicago right now, I think.
Johnny's on his way to Chicago, I believe. Are you doing both weeks, John? Because I know he's doing the second week. I'm trying to filter some stuff his way. He's so busy, though. He's such a popular guy.
I saw, I think, our buddy Pater Draws is going to be up there. The guy from...
Anthony?
Anthony from your season.
That's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's going to be
where? Salem?
No, Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
He's at the Botanical Garden.
Oh, nice.
Just a second.
Anthony is such a sweet kid. I got to meet him on Halloween Wars. And his sense of humor is so unique. And he's so talented. The way that his mind works, you know, when you're listening to the challenge, then you hear his idea and how passionate. I mean, it's really refreshing, I think, especially doing this for a few years. Not that, I mean, we still love it, but seeing someone who's introduced to it for the first time.
Yeah, he's new. He's still,
passionate. It's so refreshing and it's so cool. And he's going to have such a successful career in this industry. He's so talented.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's all about setting up the next generation.
Yep.
Right. We're doing God's work here, Paul.
We are doing God's work. I mean, seriously. God said on the 6th day, let there be pumpkin carvers. Everybody knows that.
And we're just trying to help at this point. You know, what
That's it.
God thinking outside the box.
No, he was so cool to work with. When his team got eliminated, super sad. I mean, you could see he's clearly affected by it, as anyone would. But he left this little note in my room, and there, because we had all the separate rooms, you know, and I came back and there's just like this little note, and it's just like him and Wicked. I think is
Willie?
William, yeah, he's such
William. Yeah, he's awesome.
And they left these little notes, and to see that, I don't think you see that in the cake and sugar community. You really only see that in something like pumpkin carving. I'm like, I have these other carvers that are writing notes when they're getting eliminated. I mean, like, that was such a cool feeling, right? Like, we support everyone. Like, we're around these carvers, and everyone's like, hey, do you need this tool? Do you need that tool? Right. You know, there was a girl, like, she didn't know if her tools were going to fly in on time. So I'm like, hey, I'm, you know, on a different day than you. You're more than welcome to borrow what I have, you know? So you don't see that type of support in any other, I guess Food Network wise within the cake and sugar.
I think what you're saying is we're clearly better people.
I mean, if I'm reading through the lines here, Monique, I mean,
come on.
Clearly.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? We've said it a couple times before too. It's we actually like each other. I know. I mean, sugar artists and cake artists, they have their favorites and stuff too, but they do tend to seem to be very, very catty with each other. It's because they all trained in France. Sacre bleu.
I blame France. You avoid France. No good. It's the damn French again, ruining everything. Sorry.
Well, our hobby, right? So what we do here is based on a holiday at the end of it all.
Right.
And if you like Halloween and you're an ass, you don't make sense to me. You're an alien. Because people that like Halloween have like a childlike spirit. You know what I mean? You're happy that here comes a holiday where I can dress up and act like a goof and hand out candy.
Yep.
Like there's got to be some correlation there.
Yeah. It's definitely a vibe.
Yeah, it's a mindset. You got to like the holiday first of all. I mean, and even like Ray will even say he's not the biggest Halloween guy, but when he first started doing it, he was carving them, you know, in his art class for kids that did love it, and he loved that they loved it.
Yeah.
So you know, he likes making people happy and showing what he can do, and then ta-da, he's the Godfather.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he truly is. I think to pioneer a whole entire industry, that's pretty it's a pretty big deal. I think when anyone thinks of professional pumpkin carving, Rayville thinks the first person.
He's the guy.
Yeah, I remember when the first time somebody told me that I could say that I was a professional pumpkin carver, I laughed and I was like, I probably won't ever tell anybody that. It's not, I don't know if I can do that.
We'll get you there, Paul. We'll
I think you were well overqualified. If somebody is compensating you for something, it basically that is, you can be a professional. You know what I mean?
Yes, like Mark Evan always says, if you're getting paid, it's not a hobby.
So,
to which I say, prove me wrong, because it's still a hobby.
A hobby that, if you can get paid.
When you love it, though, when you continue to love it and get paid, I mean, isn't that like the best of all worlds? Because it's
well, that's kind of I think what the way I feel about it. It's still my hobby. I still do it because I like to do it.
Yeah,
like I hate to work. Everybody hates to work because they have to, but I love to carve pumpkins, so it's still a hobby to me. It's something that makes me happy.
And I think more people enjoy it than we realize. I know I'm sure you guys get the same kind of feedback, but every year, I mean, I'll hear from people that I haven't talked to since high school, and like, oh, I always tell everyone about your pumpkins, and I've showed, all the Halloween pictures. And I'm like, man, I haven't talked to you in years, and people will follow you, and you have no idea. And the fan base is, I think, a lot larger than we realize.
Yes. I talk to a lot of people and they say, oh, we watch your show all the time, but they're not in the chat. So I'm just like, well, say something. Like, I'm hearing.
Big hello to them tonight. Hello, people.
There's a lot of lurkers, and this is obviously the time. Hey, Tony. There you go.
Thanks,
hey, Tony.
Tony's
an old buddy of mine, too.
All you damn old creepers who don't say anything, hello.
Yeah, get in here. We want to know that you're here.
Ghost watchers,
Yes. So,
go ahead.
Mickey, say it. Monique, say it. I don't want you to say it, but say it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is the worst part of my job. Monique, I have to tell you that this is the fastest 90 minutes on the internet, and you know that.
All too well.
Yes. But I also wanted to flip through some of your work really quickly. This is the part of the Kraken, right? That we didn't get to. I mean, part of the boat. I mean, it's so amazing. Tell us about this. Is super cool.
That was for a company called Sog Knives. They gave me this design, and it was this owl. They did an anniversary knife, and so they came up. I should have sent you the original owl design. They're like, hey, can you do this into a pumpkin? So the top little guy, the head part is a squash. The body is made from 2 different pumpkins. And then the skull is a smaller white pumpkin holding I think it was also a pumpkin snake. So that we set, it was the same guy who took the photos of the Kraken, my buddy Nick. And bless him and his awesome girlfriend, Nikki. They stayed at the house for the 8 hours that I was carving this thing to take pictures because he worked as a photographer for Sog Knives. And we set that up in the backyard, and that's a colored smoke bomb. You can't tell. So it's on a stool with a black blanket. There's no backdrop. It's 2:00 in the morning at this point in the backyard. And we have like an awkward light. I'm holding my phone light in the back, and then we would light up the colored smoke bombs. And we just did a couple different colored smoke bombs, and it turned out so cool. And it looks like it's in this studio. It looks like it's this but I'm laying on the turf with my phone light, and this thing's in the backyard. It was awesome. Yeah. And the smoke, it looks like you could put it in some kind of in a digital way, but it's a colored smoke bomb.
Wow. That's amazing. Cool. Amazing. I mean, these pictures are super cool. It's also, we talked about it before. It's getting professional photography for all these things is so cool. I mean, this is outstanding.
How'd you get the curl in the ear?
That's a butternut squash.
So you hollowed it out.
Oh, damn it. That was a good idea. Okay.
Oh, shit. That's a lot of work.
Natural contour of it. It turned out pretty cool.
That did come out really cool. I've never seen that one. That's a great one. What'd you do for the eyes?
It's the pumpkin.
It looks reflective.
There's a little piece of white pumpkin, I think, just for the little
the little glint.
But it's pumpkin. I brought that one to work so my coworkers could pose with it.
I can't believe the color matched so good on the pumpkin the pumpkin to the squash.
Yeah. That was lucky, I think. Yeah. And just using those thin pieces of pumpkin to make it seamless, it turned out cool.
And the stitching is amazing.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, I definitely want to hear
Halloween was photos. Thanks, Miss Frazzle Stash. Actually, thanks to everybody tuning in. Scott Amation, Jimmy Bill, Tony, Ima, Miant, all the carvers. Hey, there's a lot of good entries from some of these guys that tuned in tonight.
Yeah, you gotta
keep coming, guys. Let's keep stacking up those entries. Who wants? Ready? Let me just give it a little Mickey.
All right, here we go.
Who wants it? I'm just saying.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes.
Who wants it?
That's so cool.
There's only 2, right, in the world.
There's only 2 in existence right now. Luke's got one, and the other one's going to be given out this year.
Yeah. So get it. Let's go.
Right?
Oh, yes. I want that.
Get
Nice.
it.
I
I'm
want
talking
that.
about.
Ooh. Frazzle, good. He was like 3 of my votes last year. He's got amazing shit or stuff.
Oh,
Amazing
yeah.
stuff.
That's so awesome. I can't wait to see all the entries.
Jimmy
I'm gonna-
Bill's got a good one in. Scotty Mason's got one in.
Speaking of
Really?
Couple
Salem,
in. You guys all have a couple in. Jesus.
so
Oh, yeah.
that
More pumpkins than we do.
that episode was based off of Salem, Massachusetts. Salem trials.
Okay.
Our challenge was if a 21st century witch, or it was something like, how would a 21st century witch use her powers if she like came back from the Salem witch trials? So we did a coroner witch who harvests the organs from her victims, and then she turns them into spells to curse her enemies. So it's kind of morbid, but it was cool. The body, the coroner is all cake and sugar, and then the decomposing body is pumpkin.
Ooh.
And the eyeballs and little body parts are pumpkin. That was cool because it really did look like a decomposing body minus the smell.
Wow. Looks so cool.
The Marie Laveau, that one was based off of Marie Laveau from Mardi Gras. Where am I? New Orleans. Yeah. So basically she's been exiled from all of the parties, and so she throws her own swamp party. So naturally she had too much bourbon and she slipped into the swamp, and she's got her voodoo doll. And that one got a little funky because we made the greatest mistake. Thanks for it. Is that a family member?
Yeah, it's me, Ma.
Hi, Mom.
My biggest fan.
That's so awesome.
Nolans.
We mixed for any of the people who are watching, and they might potentially go on a Halloween Wars. Fondant and pumpkin, big no. So
Don't put them together.
No, don't even sweat.
You can see it's completely dripping, and we tried to avoid it by putting. I didn't carve the top part of the pumpkin, so I left the skin on, hoping that the fondant would create this layer. But it ended up kind of like dropping down and dripping down her face. But apparently, if you put rice paper over the pumpkin or wax paper as a barrier, then it won't drip.
How do you do that? Tape?
Mm-hmm.
You just heard.
Frosting,
Oh, you're not giving away industry secrets? Is that what we're doing
frosting,
now? Oh, all right.
frosting,
So
guys.
It's got to be
I don't
spray
know.
glue.
There you
Figure
go.
it out.
Vaseline, Astrolight, and then the little
That's
shrunken
right.
chips are watermelon radishes. So they have this natural pink flesh to them, which is cool.
Very cool.
That was unexpected. Oh yeah, there's some pumpkin ears, eyeballs.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Ear sides. I love it.
Super cool.
This was for Black Rifle. They have their.
That's a good
pumpkin.
get right there.
Yeah.
That was cool. So
You got all the hookups, Monique. That's a good get. That's what you'll be doing for when we see you next week, right?
So I will be doing. They have a new logo. It's a headless horseman, and I'm a little nervous about it. It's their new coffee bag, so it's literally a pumpkin head riding a horse. So I'm thinking about how I'm going to accomplish that, and I'm basically going to have the horse popping out of a bigger pumpkin, like the horse breaking out of a pumpkin. And then it'll be the pumpkin body. And then I don't know if you're able to Google it real quick and pull it up before we have time, but it's their new pumpkin logo. And the head is just a typical jack-o'-lantern. And I'm actually going to light it on fire when I'm over there.
Oh, wow.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be carving in my hotel room for a full day trying to accomplish that.
Yeah. So you're going to sculpt a horse? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm going
the upper half of a horse?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're, I would reference Andy and Sue for stuff like that.
Yes, they're amazing. Any type of animal, I always check out their stuff.
Yeah.
Sue with her perspective, like she does perspective art, very cool. She's probably the best at it that I've seen. So, yeah,
she's incredible.
That's
You're like,
take inspiration from Sue and Andy, and you'll be fine.
I think, I don't know if you guys have this where you go into a project and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to accomplish this. And you kind of black out. And then 10 hours later, you have a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah, 100%. There's no other way to go through it. If you're not completely panic ridden with anxiety and self-doubt, stay home. Stay home. It's not worth it. You should be like, I'm gonna pass out right now. I'm gonna pass out right now.
That's how you know you're in a good spot. Yeah. If you feel
you're either gonna make it or break it. You're gonna wake up on the ground with people pouring water on you, or you're gonna have a great piece.
Definitely the true test of an artist.
Oh,
and if you want to see all of Monique's work, you can go to her Instagram. Anywhere else we can see your work, or is this a place to go?
Art Hawk Creations.
Oh, Art Hawk Creations.
Art Hawk Creations.
Put it in the chat.
Art Hawk Creations. Plus, you can also go spend some time on Sunday nights watching Halloween Wars. You'll see you there.
That's a place as well.
Root for
or you could actually stream, maybe season 1 of Outrageous Pumpkins and see her again, on top of season 3. Obviously, you might see somebody else from the show. But I suggest checking season 1 out. That was one of my favorites because it was all my favorite artists.
You'll be amazed at the outcome of that whole series. At the season 1, that was
so fun.
That was crazy.
That was a great cast.
Brandy, I love Brandy so much. She's one of the artists I respect the most. She's phenomenal, and so meeting her was so fun. And then we did a whole reunion in Colorado with Willie.
Yeah.
We did a Outrageous Pumpkins cast reunion. It was so fun. So cool.
Yeah, I saw little bits and pieces of that look like a ball because it was, for you guys to all get back together into one place, even if the event wasn't stellar. I mean, I'm sure it was, but I'm just saying, but at least you're all in the same place again and you have none of the responsibilities or pressure. Like you're like, hand me another one. Let's just enjoy ourselves.
We had 500 pumpkins that we had to go through, and it was just, it's not your typical sculpt. It was like, hey, just do something cool. Like these people don't care. Just put some holes into it and make it cool. And then we were in the botanical gardens, so we just used all the elements. We did some cool fairy houses, and we just were tearing off leaves and flowers. I'm like, just putting it on some pumpkins. But it was so fun. I had a great time seeing everyone.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool hang.
Yeah.
My Frazzle Stash, mine was considered episode 101, as in pumpkin carving 101. And then they switched over. So this would technically be season 4, I believe.
Season 4? Okay.
Because mine was the last season of the old format, which is a special, a 1-hour special winner take all. And then they turned it into a season-long show.
Yeah.
So it was just
I like to think it was because the last 4 contestants were smashing, and they said, we need more of this shit. And so they turned into, and then they led off with you guys, which was an amazing cast of carvers and personalities, which stands the test. And whenever that season's on, I sit and watch because I just love everybody on it.
It was so cool. I know it was cold. I was the coldest one. I wish that, if we would have done it in Virginia or something when pumpkins aren't freezing, it would have been great. But the people there, it was phenomenal. I have nothing but good things. I would totally do Outrageous Pumpkins again. I'd absolutely do it.
Yeah. So you can follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Now we will not be here next Thursday, but there is a little special episode. If you follow us, definitely stay tuned to your YouTube notifications. You just might see something special coming up. So we'll just kind of foreshadow that a little bit. But guys, any last words before we sign off for this week?
Look forward to seeing you. Yeah,
anytime.
Am I doing this right?
Here, I'm gonna
no,
get
this
Paul.
was a blast, guys. Thank you for having
Paul,
me.
That's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable. Oh, it's getting comfortable. Oh no, there it's gone. No, so I was just gonna say to Monique, obviously, thank you for coming back on. Anytime, you're always welcome here. And like to Mick's point, we will be airing a show on Thursday. Will not be live. That's the difference, right? But we do have an amazing guest that can't join us on a Thursday because he's so busy at his giant Hollywood studio job.
Yes.
Just throwing it out there for the universe. So you guys tune in next week. You guys can still live it up in the chat. Hell, shit. I might even join the chat because I don't have to actually be. I'll be somewhere else, but maybe I'll check and see what's going on, see who's chatting. But we'll be updating. We'll be posting on social media constantly from Vulture City, Arizona.
Yes.
And if I say I have 1% battery and I'm in the middle of the desert, please send help because the desert's a strange and foreign place to me.
Is there a safe word? Do we have a safe word to look for?
You'll see it in my eyes. It's called terrorized. I'll have the look. Like, please, this isn't a joke.
I'm being eaten by a scorpion. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but if we got to pick one, I'm going to go with kumquat.
Kumquat.
Nobody says that word enough.
It's no.
And you'll know I'm in trouble if you hear me say kumquat. Yeah, there's nobody around him.
When I see you guys on Thursday and I hear kumquats. Yeah.
Kumquat.
Yeah.
I'm like, get me away from Matt. He's kidnapped me.
Yeah, that's where you learn the word. I say it a lot to him.
Yeah, so we will be here, but not here.
We're gonna bury some bodies back there.
Damn straight.
Kind of place they do.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you, Johnny.
Definitely.
Have fun in Chicago, bud. I'm sad I won't be there with you. That's a different thing.
Same here.
Doing different things this year.
Yes, we're flipping the script, and thank you again for joining us, Monique. We always have a great time with you, and looking forward to seeing you in Arizona. Is that foreshadowing for me? Potentially.
I believe it just did, and again.
Now you have to be there, you bastard.
Recorded, legally binding.
Yes, it's legally binding in the terms of YouTube. All right, everyone. We'll see you, but not see you next Thursday. Check all the socials. We'll get you informed. But we'll see you. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, everyone. Take care. Happy Halloween.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.